Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, and the name of the chapter is Some Leaders We Remember. So in this chapter, as you can understand, we are going to talk about some leaders, some prominent people who played important leadership roles in our country. So let's move on with this chapter. India has produced many great leaders. Let us talk about a few whose birthdays are celebrated all over the country. So today we are going to read about leaders whose birthdays are famous birthdays, and we celebrate their birthdays because they were famous and because of their contribution towards our country. First, we are going to read about Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma means a great soul, and that is what Gandhiji was. His greatness and simplicity made people all over the world respect him. He had a very simple life. He did all his work himself and wore only a dhoti and a shawl that he wove himself. People called him Bapu out of love and respect. He is also called the father of the nation. So first, we are going to talk about Mahatma Gandhi or Bapuji. So Mahatma, the word Mahatma means great soul. So Mahatma Gandhi, his real name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, but he is known as Mahatma Gandhi by the people. So Mahatma means a great soul, and Gandhiji was a great soul. He was great, but he was a simple man, and that is why people loved and respected him. He led a very simple life. What did he do? He worked hard. He worked very hard, and he wore only dhoti and a shawl. So the clothes he wore was very simple. You have seen pictures of Mahatma Gandhi in a white dhoti and a white shawl he wore around himself, and these clothes were made of khadi, and these were hand spun. That means out of cotton he made these clothes himself and he wore them. People called him Bapu, and he is also famously known as Bapu. Bapu means father, right? The other title given to him is Father of the Nation. You have read in your GK syllabus that who is called the Father of the Nation? Mahatma Gandhi, or Bapuji is known as the Father of the Nation. So this information you already know, right? Now let's move on to some important details. As a young man, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi worked as a lawyer in South Africa. At that time, South Africa was ruled by the British. It had different laws for the European settlers called whites and the rest of the people called non-whites. There were different schools, railway coaches, and so on for the whites and the non-whites. Gandhiji decided to fight this system. This changed his life. So you see, you already know about the contribution Mahatma Gandhi made in the fight against British in India. But before he came to India, before he started fighting against the British in India, he had already started fighting against the British back in South Africa. South Africa is a country in the African continent. You know that. So Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was a lawyer in South Africa, and there the British also ruled that place. And there what happened was the Britishers, they were known as the whites because of their fair skin tone, and the native people, the Africans and any other people from any other part of the country, they were known as non-whites, and they discriminated against the non-whites. Everything available for the whites was separate compared to that of the non-whites. The whites had more privileges compared to the non-whites. So Gandhiji felt that this was a very bad system, and he decided to fight against this. And when he decided to fight against this started a change in his life. When he returned to India, Gandhiji continued his fight against the British. And the people, whether rich or poor, educated or illiterate, villagers or townspeople, joined him. He led them into the struggle of independence through non-violence. So now you see, after South African movements, he came back to India, and he in India started the fight against the Britishers. When he started the fight against the Britishers, there was a huge support behind him. So who were the people supporting him? They were rich, they were poor people, they were educated people, they were illiterate people, they were villagers, they were townspeople. All types of people followed him in his movement and his fight against the British rule. So what did he do? He started the fight of independence through non-violence. Okay, so his mode of fight was not that with arms and swords or guns. Okay, he did not go into a battle, but he fought with non-violence. What is non-violence? Non-violence means not hurting or killing anyone. So non-violence, what does non-violence means? Non-violence means not hurting or killing anyone. Like in a battle, people are hurt, people are killed, they die, there is a loss. But in case of non-violence, you do not fight a battle. You do not physically fight a battle where you are hurt or the person opposite to you is hurt. So how did Gandhi ji fight the British? He asked the people not to cooperate with the British and not to follow their rules. So what did he do? He started the non-cooperation movement. Okay, he asked the people not to cooperate. What is to cooperate? When someone is doing something, okay, you go and help them. You work together with them. You 2 or 3 people, you cooperate with each other. But he asked the people of India not to cooperate with the British. Okay, he said that don't follow the rules they set on you, don't help them in their work, don't let them bully you. Okay, so he gave such instructions. He did not ask them to fight, but he asked them to stop cooperating with the Britishers. One way of non-cooperating with the British was to stop buying British goods. So what did the Britishers do? They took goods from India, okay, and then sold it to Indian people in a higher price. What did they do? They took cotton, the raw material from India. They took it back to Britain. And from that, they made expensive dresses and expensive cloths from the machines, okay. And then they brought it back to India and sold it at a higher price. So if something made in India was to cost 10 rupees, the Britishers, they sold it at 100 rupees to the Indians. Okay. So Gandhiji said that stop buying goods from them. Make your own clothes. That is the biggest reason why Gandhiji made his own clothes. Okay. Due to the reason of non-cooperation. He said that, see, I am making my own clothes. So can you. And he asked the people to stop buying goods and things from the Britishers and make their own things. This and many other reasons finally made the British leave. So these non-cooperative movements were one of the reasons why the Britishers had to leave India. This is not the only reason. There were many other leaders who played a very important role in the independence movement of India. But Gandhiji played this role through his non-cooperation movement, which has a big role in the leaving of the British from India. So, after this, you see, to Gandhiji, ahimsa or non-violence did not mean only staying away from the use of physical force. It meant loving others and working to help them. He believed that all people are equal and all religions one. At his prayer meetings every evening, there would be recitations from the holy books of all religions. So, Gandhiji taught the act of ahimsa or non-violence. What did he say? He said that all people are to live together. Okay, every religion is equal. There should not be any discrimination among any religion. And in the prayer meetings he had in the evening, holy books of all religions. Okay, the Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, okay, all the religions that existed, the holy books, prayers from those books were read in the evening prayers. 2nd October, the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, is called Gandhi Jayanti. We recently celebrated Gandhi Jayanti, right? So the 2nd of October is a national holiday. See, it's a national holiday, and on those days, the schools, offices are closed, and we celebrate Gandhi Jayanti on this day. All offices, schools, banks, and so on are closed on this day. So this is why Gandhi ji is famous, and he is a leader whom we remember. So this is about Gandhi ji. From this part, you knew a lot of things, and now you know a bit more. Now let's move on to the next part. Now we are going to read about Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru came from a rich family. He studied abroad to become a lawyer, but gave up a comfortable life to join the struggle for freedom. And when India became independent, he became its first Prime Minister. He remained the Prime Minister of India until he died. So, now we are going to talk about Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, although he was from a rich family, but he gave up his comfortable life to fight for the freedom struggle. Okay, before independence, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he was a follower of Gandhi ji, and he also played a very important role in the fight for independence. Okay, after India became independent, he became the first Prime Minister of India, and until his death, he was the Prime Minister. After he died, we had another Prime Minister. Nehru had dreams of making India a great and strong country. He made a lot of plans about the way our country should grow. One of his plans was to provide free education to all young children. Many of his ideas are still followed by the leaders of our country. So you see, Jawaharlal Nehru had many plans to develop India. Okay, after independence, India was in a very bad state, and the government back then decided many plans to develop India. And among the many great plans he had, one of them was to provide free education to young children. Okay, so there is a regulation by the government where under 14 years, children up till the age of 14 are provided free education by the government. Okay, so this idea was brought into action by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and is still followed. Nehru wrote very well too. You can read the letters he wrote to his daughter Indira Gandhi in a book called Letters from a Father to His Daughter. Indira was 10 years old and in boarding school when Nehru wrote the letters. So here we come to know that Indira Gandhi was the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru. And when Jawaharlal Nehru was in prison and Indira Gandhi was back in her school and many other different scenarios, different times, Jawaharlal Nehru wrote letters to his daughter, and these letters are collected in a book known as Letters from a Father to His Daughter. And in these letters, we learned that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was also a great writer. Jawaharlal Nehru's birthday is 14th November. We all know that, right? We celebrate it as Children's Day, right? We celebrate the 14th of November as Children's Day because of his great love for children. So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru loved children, and his love for children is what led his birthday to be dedicated as Children's Day. He spent a lot of time with children, and they fondly called him Chacha Nehru. So Jawaharlal Nehru for the children back then was called Chacha Nehru. So you see, Gandhiji was Bapuji, and Jawaharlal Nehru was Chacha Nehru to the children. Okay. So, this is about Gandhiji and Jawaharlal Nehru. Today, we will be stopping here. Next lesson, we will be continuing about two other great leaders. So, that's all for today. Read the chapter once. Okay. And I'm sure you are going to get many information from here. So that's all for today. Thank you and bye-bye.